Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Game Day Live on the Sportsman. And what a game it is. Betfred Championship Grand Final action here in York as the Knights take on Toulouse. First place second in the Betfred Championship. Silverware on the line. Alongside me for this one, Paul Rowley. And Rolls, Grand Finals, they're always special days. This today feels like it could be an absolute classic.
Absolutely. I think it's obviously the end of a long and arduous year. Both clubs have aspirations for Super League, so there's a little bit of interest there from outside, just these two clubs in particular. And you've got to say the credentials of both clubs are fantastic. Toulouse been there before, York not so. And so yeah, it's all built up for many reasons to be, like you say, a classic.
It's a fascinating matchup. York have been so good all season. They're not lost since April. That they're chasing the championship treble, the Grand Slam, if you like, against a Toulouse team that you know they're going to be entertaining. You know they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. They're easy on the eye, but they're also a very good team. It's very difficult actually to pick out what happens today.
Well, York are the favourites, but like you say, I think it's a real success story for both coaches, Mark Applegarth of York and Sylvain Hullers of Toulouse. I think both of them two guys have done tremendous jobs. The unpredictability of Toulouse always makes it interesting. Very capable side, but like you say, York at home, some fantastic players and recruitment during the year have made them a real solid outfit. So it's hard to pick a winner, that's for sure. But you've got to say York will just be a little bit favourites on the day.
How much of a part will pressure play today?
I'm not sure there's that much pressure other than the pressure that they put on themselves. I think both clubs have, in terms of the winner doesn't get up to Super League, so to speak. That's their aspirations, but this is totally about the silverware and bringing home that for the supporters and ending the year in a successful manner. So I think both teams will be quite relaxed coming into it. If anything, the pressure's on York in that respect, because like we said before, Toulouse are a little bit carefree, slight underdogs, and I think the style and manner in how they go about the business reflects that as well. So not too much pressure, but if there's any, then a little bit on York.
Well, let's hear it from two men trying not to show the pressure. The two head coaches from Toulouse, Sylvain Hullers, and from the York Knights, Mark Applegarth. Mark, thank you for joining us. Obviously, a massive day for you guys. What's the week like been building into this?
We just try keeping it as normal as we can, if I'm honest with you. Similar to what we said against Halifax, just focus on yourself. Try not to play the game too early in your heads and just keep your build-up as normal as you can. Obviously, it was nice to be able to sit back and watch the game, the day after ours. Could have gone either way. I thought Toulouse showed some excellent character to get back into it, and we know we need to be at his best again today if we want to, lift that shield at the end of it.
It was perhaps an uncharacteristically frantic game against Halifax at times last week. Have you sort of spoken to the group about just cutting the errors out, calming things down a little bit at times today?
Yeah, I think you can speak to a group as much as you like about it, but they've got to go through that experience, haven't they? When you boil it down and you look at it objectively, after last time we played Toulouse, we then had a 10-day break to try freshen players up. We then went into Doncaster and we were fortunate enough to get a good score on them, 56-0 I think it was. We then played Batley and Batley's a tough game, but with all due respect, they didn't have too much to play for, and we had that game won in 30 minutes. We then got another week off, so it was good to get in a tough game where we had to show some character and sharpen us up. So when you boil it down like that, I think it was perfect prep for a game such as this. So we know we need to be better. Yeah, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I think a lot of that, though, you've got to give credit to Halifax. I thought they're an outstanding team and really physically give us it, and they've got some strike there, haven't they? And it'll be the same again today with Toulouse. They've got some great players all over the park, and first versus second in the table, so should be a cracking game, all being well.
You've obviously been on a remarkable run with no defeat since April. Does this feel kind of like just one more hurdle, one more job to get done before you can really reflect on that achievement and enjoy what you've done?
Yeah, I think so. You just hit nail on the head there. It's all right, doing how many games, I can't even tell you. That's how much I pay attention to it. It's all about moving forward and looking at the next one, and the next one's obviously 80 minutes in front of you to lift the shield at the end of it. And it's something that we set a target for at the start of the year. We've put ourselves in a position that we're 80 minutes away from doing that. Toulouse will have been saying exactly the same things. This will have been their goal at the start of the year too. So it's whoever can ice it on the day. And big games tend to be won and lost on moments. So you just got to focus on bringing that best version of yourself and making sure that you ice your chances when you get them.
Just finally, there's 5,000 plus tickets sold, which I'm fairly sure will be a record today. You're going to have the backing of a lot of fans. Feels like it's a significant day off the field as much as on the field for the club, isn't it? Yeah,
I'm just really proud that the York public's come out and supported us as we knew they would. I've said all along that if you get this team in the right league, in terms of Super League, that the public will be fully behind this. The city itself just loves sport in general. They get right behind, any sporting team, and they've definitely come out in numbers to support us today. So proud of that. But as I say, we're just going to focus on what we can control, and that's putting in a good 80-minute performance against a good Toulouse team.
Well, best of luck today.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining us. Firstly, a big game. Has your trip over been okay? Has your preparation been good?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been very, very good. I can thank enough our club and our team. To make us the more comfortable it can be to travel here and have a cracking game.
You pulled off a remarkable comeback in the semi-final against Bradford. How much confidence has that second half performance given you?
Yeah, it's part of them games, and obviously when you fall in nil down, it's and to come back and to win against, especially against Bradford, which are a very good and strong side. It's good, but today will be another game, and we build up through the season pretty well and nicely. So, but this game is going to be a different one, and one we're ready to go.
York obviously in fantastic form this season, but do you think you've found a way that you can hurt them? Do you think you've found ways of beating them?
Yeah, they've been great all year. So they are there, for a reason. So it's a pretty similar team than us. They work hard, they really work hard. I think Mark Apple has done a very good job with them. They go on with efforts, and so we know what we're on, and it's going to be a tough battle out there.
You've got to this stage for the last couple of seasons. Do you think you've learned from those experiences? Do you think you can take things from those games into this one?
Oh, definitely. When it's they're different games. A different occasion. The game is pretty much the same. On the pitch, but the occasion is different. And managing a little bit of emotion, it's one thing. And yeah, we've been there a few times. So we've learned quite a lot. And last year was a little bit different. So Wakefield we're really strong, and then 2 years ago we lost our home, against London. So that one probably hurt us more than last year. So we're hoping then to be on the right side this season.
There's a bit of wind about, but other than that, conditions are perfect. The sun's out. Does that suit you?
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with it the best that we can, and but the pitch is fantastic in it. It's a great stadium. We love playing here, and we love coming here. So it suits, I think, both sides, and it's going to be a hell of a game, I think.
And just lastly, we've heard the noise from the Toulouse fans. We heard them coming into the stadium. There's a few of them come over. What would it mean if you could win this game for them today?
Oh, you just that's what it's about. Bringing a lot of joy in the face of people who followed us. Obviously our players, all our squads, our members of the clubs, and our families and friends, and supporters. So it's grand final is fun, and you want to make sure on the right side to bring even more fun.
Well, best of luck today.
Thank you.
Well, both head coaches seeming pretty relaxed. Let's have a look at the teams that they are putting out on the field for this Betfred Championship Grand Final. Starting off with the York Knights, the home side. Toa Mata Arthur came up with 2 huge tries in the semi-final against Halifax. He starts at full-back for the Knights. It's a wing pairing of Ben Jones-Bishop and Scott Galliano. Inside them, Ollie Field is joined by Kieran Buchanan in the centres. It's a 6 and 7 half-back pairing of Atta Hingano and Liam Harris playing behind the pack, fronted up by Jack Martin, Bailey Antrobus with Paul McShane inside them. Jesse D and Connor Bailey slot into the second row with Jordan Thompson locking in the pack for the Knights. Coming off the bench for the home side, Brendan Santi, Sam Cook, Kieran Hudson and Mitch Clark provide the reinforcements. For Toulouse, their third consecutive Betfred Championship Grand Final. They start off with Ollie Ashelbot at full-back. Paul Marcon and Paul Ulberg are the two wingers, with Romeo Tropis and Ruben Rennie in the centres. Thomas Lecans is joined by Jake Shorrocks in the halves, and it's a front row of Lambert Belmas, Rob Butler, Brendan Hans, and behind them Maxime Stefani and Matthew Jusson in the second row. Anthony Marion completes the 13 for the side from the south of France. Coming off the bench, Joe Cator, James Roumanos, Joe Breverton and AJ Wallace are the reinforcements on offer for Sylvain Houlet. Atmosphere building up around us. Plenty inside the stadium, over 5,000 tickets sold. I went for a coffee this morning in York and saw a few blue Toulouse shirts, a few French accents. They made plenty of noise when they arrived at the stadium earlier today, so don't expect this to be one-sided in terms of the fans in the stadium. The Toulouse fans are here and they are ready to play their part in what should be a fantastic atmosphere here in this Betfred Championship Grand Final. Paul Rowley alongside me. There's a real sense of excitement about this one.
There's a bit of a party atmosphere, isn't there? Like you said, there's a lot of people from York come out to support the club today and hopefully bring it home in the manner that they feel they deserve. But there's a cluster of blue and white replica shirts over on that far side. They're very, very vociferous, very noisy, and so yeah, they're creating quite a bit of atmosphere. They're certainly in the partying mood. But just looking at the both sides, the standout for me is the spine. So that both fullbacks, both sets of pivots, hookers and loose forwards have a real mix of experience and quality. I think both teams are really strong in the pivotal areas in that respect, and so that says to me, and that points to me, that it's the soldiers, the people in and around them, who are going to have to effectively, when we speak about fundamentals, they're running the hardest, tackling the hardest. It's going to come down to them things, and I think Mark Applegarth made reference to the little things and the little moments in his pre-match there, and I think he's quite right. So with that being said, I think we were speaking earlier, Lewis, about the impact that both benches will have, and I think that might just be a telling factor in the outcome of this game.
Toulouse have beaten York this season, one of the few sides that they have in round 2. 7 points to 6 on that occasion, back on the 23rd of February, but this York side haven't lost a game since April. They come into this in fine fettle. Don't want to say the only risk, because Toulouse are a very good team, but they're going to have to work hard to keep complacency out of their game.
Yeah, definitely. I think Toulouse is that team that's kind of you don't want to play, because they are the unpredictable team. I think all the other teams in the division in England, you can pretty much gauge and predict how the game's going to go. You can clearly see an underdog and a favourite in all of them games. But when Toulouse are involved, there's always that air of unpredictability, partly due to the calibre of players they've got. People like Ollie Ashelbot, who's been here about 4, 5, 6 years, I'm not quite sure, but he's one heck of a player. He's got pace, and like I said before, when you start looking through the team and you're looking at Jake Shorrocks and Brendan Hans at hooker there, and at the loose forward Anthony Marion, who's been in and around, there's a lot of experience, a lot of know-how, and like I said before, a lot of the ability to run as well. They take the line on, don't they? They beat people, and they score tries. I watched them against Bradford a couple of weeks ago in it was terrible conditions, to be fair. It's unlike today, it's sun shining today, but there is an almighty wind, and their ability to play the conditions was fantastic on that occasion. They come away with a really good win, so it's a fine margin day today, absolutely. You just think that maybe the vociferous fans from York, the sheer weight of numbers from them, will just maybe carry them over the line when they most need it.
So both teams in the tunnel, ready to go here ahead of this Betfred Championship Grand Final. York, of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show, going for the Grand Slam. They won the AB Sundex 1895 Cup at Wembley in June. They lifted the League Leaders' Shield against Batley here a few weeks ago, and now they look to complete the set in the Grand Final against Toulouse Olympique, who of course are competing in their third consecutive Betfred Championship Grand Final, looking for a better result this afternoon here at the LNER Stadium. As you mentioned, clear skies above us, a bit of a breeze knocking about, but a real buzz, electricity about the place as we get ready for this grand final. So here we go. Here come the teams. Liam Harris leads out York to the pyrotechnics, the fireworks, the noise. And it is game on here in York. Silverware on the line. A full season of work in the Betfred Championship comes down to this for these two teams. First versus second, so undoubtedly the best two teams in the competition, putting it all on the line this afternoon. It's fantastic to be able to bring you this one on the Sportsman. Thank you for joining us for this game and all of our live offerings this season. We've had a lot of fun, but none of them feel quite like it does here in York this afternoon. The two teams lining up ahead of kick-off. Tom Grant is the man in the middle, our referee this afternoon. And we're almost ready to go in the second grand final of the season. We had the Betfred Wheelchair Super League grand final last weekend, of course. Here in York this afternoon, the Betfred Women's Super League follows us. And then, of course, we are at Old Trafford next weekend. But it is all about the Betfred Championship for the next 2 hours or so. York in their traditional black and gold hoops, kicking from left to right on your screen. Toulouse in their light blue and white strip, just in one final huddle. The last few words of wisdom, words of encouragement. They're coming to a place, it's been a very difficult ground to win at this year, but when there's a trophy on the line, it all feels very, very different. So Toulouse will get us underway. Ollie Ashelbot has the kicking tee and the ball in hand. And we've spent a week, a season, really building up to this one. We are finally ready to go. 80 minutes away from crowning the winner in the Betfred Championship. Here we go. York will get first taste of the football, and it's already a more routine start to the game than what we saw here in the semi-final last week. But that is a fantastic response from Toulouse. Great kick chase, and York will start this set on their own 10-metre line. It does feel like an opportunity for either side to set the tone in this game, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll just be, all the chat will be around completing, getting through them first 3 or 4 sets and then starting again from there, trying to gain some ascendancy via field position. So just tough carries, head down and get to the kick is the main objective in these early exchanges.
So York up over their own 30-metre mark. Paul McShane in there at dummy half, former man of steel, former Betfred Super League grand finalist, of course. Wealth of experience to bring to this York side, who comes out to Liam Harris, who was the top point scorer in the Betfred Championship this season with 232. He'll be key again. Jesse D puts a big shot in on Ollie Ashelbot. And already the crowd inserting themselves into this game. Plenty of noise around us. Toulouse start their first set inside their own 20. York will have been pleased to just get through the tackles, put a kick in and get into the arm wrestle rolls. Yeah,
a good kick from Harris as well. Found grass, didn't he? And then they backed it up with a great chase. It really restricted Toulouse here, I think, to, 10-15 metres, 4 carries in. You've got to say, just on the early exchanges, York's working in around the ruck. Slowing the ruck down has been a little bit better than the first set from Toulouse, as Toulouse get that offload away.
Yeah, the offload away, and here goes Ollie Ashelbot, and now they bring it out to the left-hand side. Toulouse throwing the ball around early on. Ruben Rennie goes through, gets another offload away. Good progress made on that tackle from Toulouse. This is the last, but an opportunity to try and bury York into a corner. They'll come out to the left-hand side. LeCans will just stab one through, takes an awkward bounce, and Ben Jones-Bishop goes back to mop that up. But a hallmark of this Toulouse side for the last few years is that willingness to play from deep.
Yeah, I mean, there's the warning shot, isn't it? It's probably the best thing that could happen to York as well, because if they're under any illusions, if there was any complacency, which I'm sure there wasn't, then that's just been taken right away there. But the threat of Toulouse and, like you said, the willingness to shift the ball or offload the ball at every given opportunity is there and evident in that, right within that first set.
So McShane again at dummy half just brings us out to the left-hand side with a short ball. York just keeping it with the tram lines for the time being. Playing amongst a few black and yellow balloons that have drifted onto the field. Kick comes in early on from Liam Harris. Ashwell Bott will just drift across and bring us out to the right-hand side to Paul Marcon, who is stopped on the 30-metre mark, sorry. And Toulouse already making some decent progress. They've started the first 3-4 minutes of this game brightly, and here goes Ashwell Bott again up the middle. Already some really bright touches from him, the former Widnes and Huddersfield man. And then a slightly more industrial effort from Lambert Belmas, one of many France internationals on the field for Toulouse, who again look to try and add a little bit of invention as Rob Butler gets an offload away, and they've got space over on this right-hand side. Tackle made. This is the last, but first attacking platform of the game for either side. Toulouse have an opportunity to put a kick in here. It comes out to Shorrocks. They'll come short side, keep the ball alive, still keeping it alive, and York's defence just does enough to shut things down over on that far side. But you mentioned the word warning shot, Paul Rowley. Toulouse have fired a few off.
Well, it's interesting right at the beginning of the game now, so you kind of want to, as a player, you want to build your way into these sort of moments, but I think York in particular really haven't had that chance to, and their heart rates have gone from a steady 60 to 160 in a matter of minutes, so they'll be absolutely blowing hard now. So the second wind they've got to find, this stoppage will help them just to reset a little bit and try and regain some sort of control, and by that I mean taking out the chaos. If it's a chaotic game, then it's going to suit Toulouse, isn't it? So York's best advantage is to take away the chaos and control that ruck, control that offloads. I'm sure that's a message that Mark Applegarth will be ringing in their ears.
Well, slight concern for Toulouse. Anthony Marion was down in pack play receiving some treatment. He's back up on his feet and back in the defensive line, but you just wonder if York might fire a few big middles straight at him after seeing that. They're out on the left-hand side. McShane brings a short, and that is exactly what they do. He's level to it, Marion, so McShane again out to the right to Thompson. Harris will kick from inside the 40, but didn't quite reach the 20. Good touch finder though from Liam Harrison, just perhaps restoring a little bit of calm from a York perspective.
Yeah, there's some game sense in there. I think that's play 3 as well, so there's a little bit of game sense. Just wanted to change the trend a little bit, like I said before, take away the chaos and put that control back in the grip of York. So whilst early, really sensible kick from Harris, and again it just takes the tempo out of the game. And because I think if we go toe for toe, I think York have got them in the middle. I think they're a little bit tougher, a little bit tidier within their middles and within their bench. But the chaos suits Toulouse for sure.
So Toulouse again with ball in hand, just up towards the 40, and now they will look to go from one edge to the other. York's defence level to it. Toulouse will come short sided. Lacans drops it off to Ruben Rennie up over the 40, already proving himself to be a handful with ball in hand this afternoon. Out there come again Lacans, and now they look to spread it all the way across, and here's Ashwell Bott again. Can he engineer some space? Gets away from one tackle, eventually brought down, but there's going to be a penalty.
Jake Shorrock's just been hit late off the ball. They've gone width, a lot of width right to left, and then gone on a double shift, gone straight back at them. Really good skill from Toulouse. The pass is right on the money, but Yeah, just a little bit late in that one, and I thought they were lucky previous set where Marion went down, just got a little bit hit a little bit late, but on that occasion it's Shorrocks got late, and they're going to take the 2 and try and get on the board first, so it's really kickable, but nevertheless you'd want to have a chase on the back of it. I'm not quite sure which way that wind's going at the minute. I think it seems to have settled down somewhat, yeah, but the balloons are swirling round still on the pitch, so yeah, it's no particular direction.
So it is an opportunity to draw first blood in this grand final for Shorrocks. Just to the right-hand side of the sticks, about 35 metres away, so angle shouldn't be too much of an issue. As you say, plenty of wind swirling around here in York. Steps up. Connection is good. Accuracy is good. And Toulouse take an early lead here in the Betfred Championship Grand Final. 7 minutes played, and the French side lead 2-0, courtesy of the boot of Jake Shorrocks. As we'll just see it again, that late hit. It's Jesse D who just leaves his shoulder in a fraction too long. Shorrocks dusts himself off and duly obliges. If you can hear some bangs around us, it's the Toulouse players just putting their studs through a few of the rogue balloons that have drifted onto the field. Ashel Bott takes the kick-off cleanly and just gives it to Lambert Belmas on the charge, but he's stopped for minimal gain. Toulouse starting this set 15 metres away from their own line. As we've mentioned, a team very comfortable with playing from deep. Here's Butler up towards the 30. And now they'll look to come back to the right-hand side. York pretty comfortable just to be defending at the moment. I think they know they're going to be stretched one way and then the other. Here's Ashel Bott, who has had his fingertips on everything in the first 9 minutes of this game. And this is the last, so the kick will come in, but in fact it is stopped before it even gets to that point. Kieran Buchanan really sharp from marker to shut that down. And maybe the first little win in this game from a York perspective.
Well, it's our first look at York, isn't it? I think the ruck was a little bit scruffy. It's a great defensive read from York, but for this first time we're going to get a chance to look at York in good field position. So I do feel that Toulouse are worthy of the slight advantage at the minute, the 2-0 advantage that they've got, but they really need to control Ashel Bott, do York, because he's the problematic person at the minute for them from a defensive point of view. But like I said before, I'll first look at York now and see what they're about.
So here's Hingano, just steps one way and then the other. Pass was just slightly too far in front of him, so did well in the end to just bring that in and control it. Real aggressive running halfback Hingano, formerly of Salford and Lee, Tongan international. Connor Bailey has a crack and makes some decent progress, so last tackle, but York Knights in striking distance for the first time, and they'll play on the last. He kind of steps inside, and perhaps not the percentage play from Liam Harris, but they did have some joy with that move on 2 occasions last week, so you can perhaps understand why they look for it again. Yeah,
and you can see now they're building into the game, aren't they? This is a really big defensive set for York to again keep hold of that field position in that next set, and then maybe pull the trigger a little bit more as the Toulouse team just suffer a little bit what York have been doing for the last 5 to 10 minutes, a little bit fatiguing them legs, having to defend back-to-back sets.
Oh, now kick charge down. It was Shorrocks who kicked. It was McShane who got out to it. And this is a golden opportunity for the home side. 20 metres out, full set in their pocket. Hingano just with a fairly uninventive first carry. He settled 15 metres away. Now there is a bit of shape to the right-hand side. Thompson brings us out to Harris. Harris looks one way and then the other, and then finds Matt Arthur, who will go himself and open the scoring for York. Just like he did on that right edge against Halifax. Toa Matt Arthur throws the dummy, goes through the gap, and the first try of the Betfred Championship Grand Final goes to the York Knights and Toa Mata'afa.
Yeah, you've got to say, for all Toulouse's bright start to the game, the minute they've had to be asked some questions defensively, they haven't shown too much resilience there. I thought they'd looked at York have got their nose through with straight up carries, and the first time they've gone on that shift, it's Harris just getting across the field, and left edge just misreads there, and he's too big, this guy, isn't he? He's such a good player, too strong near the line, so yeah, just really clumsy, if I'm being honest, from a left edge. They look slightly lethargic as a team, Toulouse, defensively. You've got to hope that they're going to have the lion's share of possession from their point of view, because I think York will, they make meters too easily against this team, who laterally just seem a little bit, like I said, lethargic, heavy on the feet maybe. And it's a simple, well-worked try from York. And like I said before, this guy, Toa Mata'afa, is certainly a gun player for York.
Well, York, perhaps unsurprisingly, the top scorers in the Betfred Championship. 764 of them in the regular season, so they will take the chances on offer, and Toa Mata'afa continues his red-hot form. He was the game breaker, the difference maker in the semi-final against Halifax, and he's shown that early on again in the grand final. Liam Harris with a difficult conversion, pretty much from the touchline, maybe a foot in. Very, very good with the boot, but not easy kicking conditions, as we've mentioned. So takes his time over this one and steps up, and it's just fading away to the left-hand side of the post, so it stays 4 points to 2 in favour of the York Knights, but maybe just not a sense of relief around the stadium, but certainly a feeling that that game has just settled York, that tries to settle York into this game a little bit.
Yeah, it's settled the nerves, hasn't it? But again, it's another warning shot for Toulouse, but it's definitely settled the nerves in and around the stadium. That York, on the first time really they've had field position, they've posted points there, but you would hope that Toulouse have one or the other. Are they going to slide defensively? Are they going to get up? And
now that kick's dropped short in the wind and taken an awkward bounce. It's pinballing around. Ollie Ashel-Bott picks it up, so all of a sudden it's Toulouse straight on the attack. It pinged off a York leg, which played a lot of players offside, which is why the retreating Knights players weren't able to touch it, and Ollie Ashel-Bott on spot to pick up his own kick-off, and straight away Toulouse with an opportunity.
Just shows you the wind as well. We were just asking the questions, and
then a penalty.
So that'll be Toulouse just levelling up here with the two points if they choose to take it. But yeah, the ball went high, didn't it, on the kick-off, and it clearly blew back on itself quite significantly there, just to make it a really troublesome catch for York. And there comes the chaos, which, as we said before, Toulouse certainly thriving, and it's Ollie Ashel-Bott again. He's so electric, isn't he? He's been such a consistent player over a long period of time now. He's been great for Toulouse, and he's their best player at the minute, that's for sure.
Well, he caused all sorts of problems with this kick-off, and it just stops, doesn't it? It bounces backwards, and then takes a ping off a York leg, and that's why none of those Knights players are able to touch it. Ashel-Bott finding a little bit of space. He burst onto the scene, didn't he, in a witness team that was struggling at the time, and has gone on to have a very good career in the south of France with Toulouse.
Well, I think he's had options to move elsewhere as well. I actually just think he's enjoys the lifestyle and the living in France, south of France, so much that he's stuck with them throughout. And why would you not? He's certainly performing well. He looks happy, and fair play to him. But when we arrived at the stadium, there was a gale force wind blowing in all directions. It seemed to calm down, but like I said before, it's the odd gust is clearly evident there on that kick-off, and it's a challenge for anybody.
So Shorrocks will look to add the 2 and level things up here in York, which he does. So we are an even ball game here in the Betfred Championship Grand Final, as we see Belmas winning his side a penalty in the middle of all of that chaos. In fact, just before it, York have made their first change. Brendan Santi coming on to replace Bailey Antrobus, so an Italian international replacing a Welsh one.
Got to ask, what was the penalty for?
I don't know if it was a shot that rode slightly high on Belmas. And now York return up to the 10. Toulouse return up to the 10, apologies. They'll just have a little bit more wind in their sails. Funny how a game of rugby league can change with the bounce of the ball.
Though, with York, look, they seem to control everything. The rucks control, but it's just that one play. They've got to really concentrate for the full set of 6, because they just have that one play, don't they? Where I say Ollie Ashall, but generally pops up in and around play 4 and gets them on the front foot. But yeah, great set from Toulouse, this one, making some easy meters, strong carries.
That's what Toulouse do, isn't it? There's no player on the field that's ever really out of the game, because they can move the ball so quickly and they're willing to. Up over halfway on last tackle. Shorrocks puts that one high up into the air for Galliano to deal with, which he does, and it wasn't an easy take for Scott Galliano. 18 tries in 2025 for the former Sunshine Coast Falcons product, and wins his team a penalty.
It was a great catch, wasn't it? Going backwards as well, really difficult catch. The ball's gone in there, like we said before, pointed out, a lot of movement in that ball, and he's just got a high tackle there. And if the ref was in any doubt, the 1,000 or so fans in that section there from York let him know, and just encouraged him to put mouth to whistle on that occasion.
So York back underway and looking to get themselves back on top of a game that's really swung one way and then the other. Toulouse have had some really bright moments. That toe at Matt Arthur try looked like it had pinned the French team back again, only for them to then be levelling up from the penalty. So really neither team in the ascendancy, you would say, 18 minutes into this one, as the scoreboard would attest, as Hingano gets up slightly slowly and then goes back down. So cause for concern there from a York perspective. They're up over halfway, and Harris puts that one into the clouds. It takes a long time to come down, and then takes a few bounces, and York keep it alive, and Harris has it in hand again, and then he puts another kick in which hits a Toulouse player, and we're back to 0. Live, I wasn't sure if that was played at, but no hesitation from Tom Grant in resetting the clock. So 30 metres away from the Toulouse line, and York in position to have another crack. Yeah,
my first instinct was that's a tough call for Toulouse, but I thought the ball played the man. But I'm sure we'll see in a replay further down the line is York, who
Thompson
again through Thompson, just getting the nose through, setting up field position.
McShane, short drop-off ball from McShane to Hudson. Hudson stopped 5 metres away. McShane can pick left or right, picks left, back to Jordan Thompson, out to Hingano, numbers left if they want to use them. Ollie Field can't quite through, cut through. Hingano again, he'll stab a grubber kick through, bouncing around all over the place, it just evades everyone. So we're going to come back for a 20-metre tap, but I think there was a few hearts in mouths there for Toulouse.
Well, the dropout would have been a good outcome as well, but the ball evaded everyone, like you say. It was almost like a dummy put down. If he didn't get his hand to it, Toulouse, though, I'm not sure if he did or he didn't, but yeah, they got away with one, Toulouse. But again, you've got to say, if they're going to slide on their own line, they've got to be working an awfully lot harder on the inside. Otherwise, York will pick them out, especially through Thompson, smart footballer, and Harris. They'll find that space on edges, so they've got to work harder from the inside if they're going to defend like that.
So hands in at dummy half, on loan from Parramatta Reels, Brendan Hands, and Ulberg is away, and he gets the offload to Ruben Rennie, but we're going to come back for a forward pass. Toulouse thought they were in then. think it's the touch judge on this near side who's made the call. Can have a look at it again. I don't think there can be too many arguments.
No, I think it's the right call. What I will say is we're going to see this for the next 60 minutes. Toulouse won't go away from doing this. They've clearly set out a game plan. A lot of traffic coming right to left down this left edge for Toulouse, right edge for York. So yeah, they've certainly showed us the blueprint. They won't go away from it. Ollie Ashall, but again, creating the overlap, throwing the cutout pass, and then some strong carriers over here on this left edge.
So Scott Galliano off his wing, first cab off the rank in this set, up to the 35-metre mark. McShane then to Brendan Santi, who's fashioned a sort of old strongman moustache for this grand final. Now we'll come out to the right again. Ben Jones-Bishop, top try scorer in the Betfred Championship. 29 of them for the Jamaican international. Now they'll come left to Thompson, who will just straighten up and take on 3 Toulouse defenders, get his way up over the 40. Still tackles in hand in this set. McShane will go himself before bringing Hingano into the play. That ball is offloaded to ground and has gone forward in the process, so Toulouse will get possession back, and a bit of a disappointing end to what had looked like a lively set for York.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like they've got going yet, does it, York? They've not been able to sustain some large periods of pressure on this Toulouse line. It's just ended with a little bit like that, with an error or change over, and Toulouse have managed to manipulate a half break and get themselves out of trouble. So you've just not quite got into it yet. So really need to put a couple of good defensive sets together and really contain this territory for Toulouse and put them in these corners. So it's an even contest. It's as we predicted, hard to call.
Ruben Rennie just bumper carring his way through a few York defenders there. He's had a bright opening 23 minutes of this game. Really does feel like this game will be on a knife edge as Butler crashes over halfway.
You look at the body shape though. You mentioned Ruben Rennie. They're like props on edges, aren't they? So that tells you one thing: they're going to be vulnerable defensively, but geez, when they get the ball in their hand, they're so powerful and dangerous, and that's exactly what we're seeing at the minute.
Well, they're props that can play a little bit as well, aren't they? Because
absolutely.
They can move the ball around.
The only way to have a good day against Toulouse is to starve these guys of possession, so you've got to be ultra disciplined.
Well, he's Ashall finding some space again. Could be numbers on the right. Maybe not the right decision. Maybe it was the right decision. Offload away to no one. Oh, Mathieu Duchamp did all sorts of good work there before just chucking that offload away. Maybe he'll look back at that and think he could have found someone in some space.
They could have got a penalty as well. I think it was unfortunate. Again, it's Ollie Ashall, but is it late off the ball? Just pretty much identical to the previous one that they got, but nothing forthcoming. I think the referee played advantage, and it was a try-scoring opportunity, but I thought he might have come back for the penalty.
So York with ball back in hand up to the 30. Harris at acting half, just to Jones-Bishop, who is met well. Manages to shrug players off in the ruck though, so it's a decent speed on the play of the ball, and Matt Arthur gets York on the front foot again, and now D finds some space, brings it out to the left-hand side to Field to Galliano. He steps inside, eventually stopped, but York have eaten up a huge amount of real estate in that play. Out it comes to Hingano. He'll look to stretch it back to the other edge. Here's Harris. Short ball from Harris to Connor Bailey, who's stopped 13 metres away. Harris goes himself from dummy half, then gives it to Hingano, who stopped a metre away, and York will turn the ball over on the last, but right on the Toulouse line.
Survived again, and that's probably the word to describe Toulouse and how they defend at the minute. Is surviving when they're having to defend. It's great work from McShane, the old campaigner there before. Matt Arthur just injects himself into the game. I'd like him to inject himself more into this game. I thought they missed a trick there. Harris just went back to the left. I thought he was off the back. They should have played the full back on Rennie, who looked really heavy-legged as they win a penalty. But this is what I'm talking about with York. Just as Toulouse look like cracking, York just take the foot off the throat, and you know, I'm sure Mark Applegarth will be saying when they get them in at half time, as there's 15 minutes to go, he'll be saying that they're their own worst enemy at the minute. I don't think it's. I think they're just giving Toulouse too many free outs, whether that be a loose tackle or a penalty like we've just seen. But they've definitely not executed in the moments where they could have done. Like that previous set is York. So
decent territory made on that kick. I think maybe wind assisted. It does look like it is perhaps blowing from right to left.
It blew back last time. So
well, yeah, maybe it's blowing in every direction. Toulouse up over halfway. Slightly slower play the ball, so they'll come out to the left-hand side to Thomas Lacans, who brings Ulberg into play. He just bumps off Liam Harris and then gets up towards the 40-metre mark. And now options on the right-hand side of the field, perhaps, for Toulouse. Stop just inside the tram lines. Here's Shorrock, steps one way and then brings it back into the middle, looking for support, which he finds in Ashelbot. Ashelbot's pass goes to ground, but Toulouse recycle. Lambert Belmas is stopped 8 metres away, dead centre of the field, so it's the left-hand side that Toulouse go for. Ashelbot puts a kick through, which is then picked up by Matt Arthur. Can he find some space? Just dragged down by the ankles. And York straight away up to the 30, so both teams, it feels, just able to get out of their own yardage with relative ease.
Do you know, I thought
so far in this game.
It was a real tired defensive set from York. I was watching Matt Arthur try and pull middle across just to make up the right numbers. A fullback's job's to make sure they've got the right numbers in the right spaces. They've got a wide 6 defensively. He wanted 7 there, but they were non-responsive. They weren't responding to him, and Toulouse just missed the trick there. There was a big space.
Well, Thompson gets on the end of an offload and he's up to the 40, so decent progress made in this set. This is the last. Out it comes to Liam Harris, who then spins it out to Hingano, who puts one high up into the air, but taken in safely by Paul Marcon.
He's not seen much action, has he, Marcon, just in these opening encounters? He's,
no, it's been mostly on this near side, hasn't it? So Toulouse then up over their own 30-metre mark. Just a little bit of an arm wrestle starting to develop in this game. Joe Cater and Joe Breverton onto the field for the French side. Jesse D makes a strong challenge, and Shorrocks will kick from just inside his own half. Matt Arthur just has to deal with an awkward bounce, but does take it in cleanly, and he'll look to return up over the 20 and gets a couple of metres after contact there as well. Harris now brings us short side. Here's Ben Jones-Bishop, he's up towards the 40, so straight away in this set, York finding metres again early on. And now Mitch Clark onto the field. His first involvement, plays the ball just short of halfway. Stefani still in the ruck, but referee says all okay, so Harris will be stopped just short of the 40-metre mark. Here's McShane getting to the play the ball late and finding Buchanan. Buchanan almost engineering himself a little bit of space. Last tackle out to Harris. Harris looks to kick, but then keeps it in hand. And here's Hingano, and there could be numbers on the left-hand side if they use them. Hingano wrapped up, and then a bit of a volley that from Harris. And in the end, Marcon just has to go back and clean up. But York playing a little bit of a chaotic football there.
Oh, well, I thought it's great. It's great.
And then another penalty. It's a bit of a theme, isn't it, developing, that York just allowing Toulouse out of jail, really, with penalties early on in sets.
Well, I thought that previous set from York, they churned up some. They got through 5 tackles really quick. 1 out carries. The ruck was messy, but they made 10 metres each carry, got themselves into field position. And you're kind of thinking when they're going to pull the trigger. They pulled it on the last tackle, but made the wrong option again. And Garner on a short ball. It was a great spot from Harris, but the end of it was poor and chaotic, like you said. And then they flip it over like that after such a good set, strong set with the ball. Such a dangerous last play. Toulouse are in chaos. They blow him. And they give him the easy out, and this is just playing into Toulouse's hands. He'll be really disappointed, Mark Applegar, at this point.
Well, the party atmosphere that both sets of fans have brought to the pre-game has kind of changed into a bit of nervousness, a bit of tension around the stadium here. There is absolutely a game on in this grand final as Breverton carries up towards the 30, and now they'll come out to the left-hand side with Cater. He'll keep the ball moving, and Ashel Bott will insert himself into the line from full-back. Just about kept on the safe side of the horizontal in that tackle, so no penalty, and Ruben Rennie brings us out to the right-hand side. James Romano fresh onto the field as well. He'll settle 15 metres away. Shorrocks with ball in hand on the last tackle. Big miss-out ball, and there could be space. Mocon juggled it and then threw it offload into no man's land, and York survive another scary moment on that edge.
Well, Silva Hules will be something similar, won't he? They seem to be almost scoring 2 or 3 times, and again, just that final pass just gets a little bit chaotic. Instead of taking the tackle or putting the foot to the ball and creating a repeat set. So, well, what would be interesting if Toulouse did get over the try line for another, put themselves in front, what would that do to the atmosphere and the pressure that York have put upon themselves?
So York recycling the ball themselves. Oh, now that has surely gone forward. Yeah. Yes, it has. So it will be Toulouse ball on the 40, and perhaps their best starting position on a set for a while in this game. 8 minutes or so left in this first half, and you mentioned the atmosphere might change, the whole complexion of the game might change if Toulouse can engineer something here.
Well, it's interesting. Obviously, Toulouse have got a style that they play, and they've not gone away from that. I think with York, all they need to do is to play tough right up the middle. I don't think they need to be overly complicated against Toulouse. Like I said before, I think the way forward with them is to try and drown them in this area in their own end, and just strong carries, quick play the balls, and kick and defend for your life. And this team will crack. Toulouse will crack defensively, but their inability to do that is just feeding Toulouse. And like I said before, they're a dangerous team. We've got a lot of experience, a lot of players who can create something special.
Well, now there's something going on in backfield here. It's Brendan Santi at the heart of it. I can't see who the Toulouse player is that has fallen foul of the Italian international. Now it is on. Evidence, if you needed it, that tensions are high in this Betfred Championship Grand Final. The referee's in the middle of it blowing his whistle. Two teams aren't quite done yet. There we go, we're all smiles now, so we'll see what Tom Grant makes of this.
Yeah, he's took exception with what he considers cannonball tackle, doesn't he? The Toulouse hooker, Brendan Hands. He's took exception with Santi, and I've got to agree with him. He's coming in around the knee area, so I'd like another look.
Have you got anything else after that? Who comes in from your...
It's hands from Toulouse that comes in and pulls Santi. And then after that, everyone's just going to... It's hands from Santi.
Yeah, I'm going to talk... The interview's going to go in report. I'm going to speak to Brandon Hands. And obviously we get Brendan Santi from there. I'll speak to the captain for the report. We're going to go tackle 2, Brendan. Yeah. Okay, mate. Captains, please! Captains, please!
So Tom Grant will have a word with the captains. I think we are just going to carry on.
So the initial contact's going to be a possible dangerous contact, but we don't need his players running in.
From who?
What?
Dangerous contact.
The tackle's going to report, but we don't need his players running in. They're in the vicinity, but they can't take control away from my hands. We're going to go on report. The other injury's going to report. Tackle 2. On report.
So the tackle goes on report. Brendan Santi.
I think that's where it's hard if they've not got anybody in the rear, the referees and the officials, if they've not quite seen it at first instance, then we've got the hindsight of the replay, so somebody in the rear, because to me it's a penalty, but I think he's dealt with it really well.
Yeah, and do you know what? Just coming back to the second tackle, instead of giving any kind of penalty for the escalation, just keeps this grand final moving. Perhaps the only negative from a Toulouse perspective in that is that they were building a bit of momentum, and now York have had a chance to get a little bit of a breather and reset themselves as Cater looks to go through, and then he cops a high shot, so it will be a penalty, and it's Brendan Santi again in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
Just happy to play the pantomime villain for the time being.
Yeah,
you would think.
They're playing into Toulouse's hands. Yeah, they'll take the 2, won't they? Put themselves in front, 6-4 up. Time's running out, 7 minutes left of this half, so it'll be 6 minutes, and time is pressure for York.
There might have actually been 2 high tackles in that. I think Thompson and Santi made sure that they got him.
But if you're Toulouse and you're coming to York, you know what you're walking into. You're a side that's won every game, so with every win comes pressure. The pressure's on them. They can give them the favourites tag. There's a big crowd expectant of a trophy lift at the end. So time is pressure. The longer this game goes on, why York are in front, the more pressure builds, the quieter the crowd go, and the whole atmosphere just changes. And this is a big 2 points, big moment for Toulouse, just edging in front. And now this becomes a really big set. If Toulouse can have a really competent set coming out of yardage here and get a good kick away, then they're starting to display an element of discipline and control on this game.
Well, it feels like a big spell up until half-time at this point, doesn't it? About 5 minutes or so left to play, and York have an opportunity to get some control back in this game. Equally, Toulouse have an opportunity to expand their lead before half-time and really test this York Knights resolve. We've not seen them lose since April, but they will be feeling a little bit of heat, I think, at this stage in the game. It's not been all their way by a long stretch. That said, when you're 2 points down to 3 penalties, you are ultimately the master of your own downfall, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just watching back play there. I think it's Bretherton who just gives Santi a little push. He's lucky, really, to be fair, that the ref's not pulled him up on that. It's just unnecessary. I think whichever team keeps the discipline, they'll come away here. But again, I've got a question just defensively on York. Just slow to react sometimes and get people across in and around the corner defensively, get the numbers right.
So here's Ashelbot again, dancing in towards the line. Eventually, on this occasion, just wrapped up by Jesse Dean, forced backwards. Shorrocks will put the kick in. Oh, Galliano spilt it. Massive error with 4 minutes left in the first half, and York have opened the door to Toulouse here in the last few minutes. It was swirling around in the wind, and I think it just wrong-footed Scott Galliano, and he spilt it. Toulouse now, well, they'll be licking their lips at this, because they have been on top in the last few minutes of this game amidst all of the nonsense in backfield and teams coming together. Just feels like they are starting to get a little bit of control.
It's a shame, because a good set from York. I thought they dealt with Ollie Ashelbot really well, comfortably. Took the sting out. It was a slow ruck. Some great pressure from Jesse D, who's been good for York. Been really aggressive defensively. Just an unforced error there. Just give Toulouse a huge opportunity.
So what can the side from the south of France do with this set? Romanos is stopped 8 metres away. Now they'll come to the left-hand side to Joe Cater. He'll try and muscle his way over, but he's shut down. York's goal line defence was good last week in the semi-final. It needs to be good again here. Rennie almost finds a way through. Couldn't quite get the offload away, so he's stopped 5 metres away. Ashelbot in at acting half. Out to Shorrocks. Short ball from Shorrocks to Romanos. Romanos is stopped 4 metres away. This is the last, so Toulouse with one more opportunity to make something happen in this set. Shorrocks steps back inside and then throws a pass out to the right. Still alive, but all a little bit messy, and York will shut that last play down and get the ball back 8 metres away from their own line, but they can take some confidence, York, with the way that they defended that out.
Yeah, and they needed to, didn't they? It's interesting from Toulouse there, Ruben Rennie coming off that left edge, just linking in there over on that right, just causing some problems in and around the third defender in, but Toulouse will get another crack with the ball if they manage to get through this defensive set without any looseness and get some field position, so they will get another crack before the half-time move to goes.
It feels like a while since we've been looking to our right-hand side really in this game. A bit of a pattern of Toulouse just making York play out from their own half, as Buchanan nearly gets himself 3, but he's stopped 25 metres away. Perhaps just the difference in discipline as well. Toulouse have not been giving York the penalties out of yardage that they've been afforded. That kick is deep and just takes a bounce for Marcon to deal with, which eventually he does, and then returns back up towards the 20. He's met by Mitch Clark and then put down rather unceremoniously. So Toulouse will begin this set 20 metres away from their own line, and now it's York who will look to try and turn the screw in defence. I think the big message is we don't give away a penalty. And now Ulberg comes off his wing and around the ruck and takes on a few York defenders, stopped by Thompson. Shorrocks with a drop-off ball to Cater. He's up towards the 40, finds his front, gets a quick play, so Toulouse will keep rolling this on. Here's Ashelbot into the line. There are numbers on this left. He'll choose to try and dart through the line himself, rides a couple of tackles, but then he's eventually brought down. This is the last, so they are into York real estate. Shorrocks puts another high kick into the air. Matarafa tasked with dealing with this one, which he does well, and then returns up towards the 10. But again, Toulouse doing a good job of just dictating where York start their sets, and then it's another York error deep inside their own half.
Well, this is it, isn't it? This is it for York. They've got to be strong here, but yeah, it's done a great job there, Toulouse. York are really, that set in particular, they had a great kick from McShane out of Dunby half. Applied numbers in tackles, 3, 4, 5 defenders on times. But Toulouse just stayed patient, followed the late retreats, got some field position, and then again another unforced error. It really is the tail of the first half for York.
So what a platform for Toulouse. Should point out at this time that clock on your screen is not connected to the referee's watch. It is just a guide, so we may be into a little bit of added time. I don't think there'll be too much. We've got a stoppage for coming together, but other than that, not too many breaks in play. Ashelbot out to the right-hand side, just runs out of options and is eventually forced backwards by Paul McShane. York need to be squeaky clean here. They'll come short side, Toulouse. Still going, and there is the hooter. And the Knights survive on this occasion, but they have been under the pump in the first 40 minutes of this Betfred Championship Grand Final, and it is just a 2-point lead for Toulouse, but one that I would say, Paul Rowley, on the balance of that first half, they about deserve.
Oh, I think so. I think when you look at the statistics, I think the sheer weight of possession, territory, completions, all the fundamentals that you really want to carry into a cup final, then Toulouse are just in the ascendancy there. They're just winning that battle, if you like. So I have got no doubt that York are very much capable of chipping away and getting 2, 3 quick-fire tries just by playing strong and direct right up the guts, but they're just getting it wrong on too many occasions with the ball. But without the ball, both teams have been resilient and strong. But like I said before, I don't think Toulouse have really been tested too many times in a territory where they're going to be too stressed. So everything's been a little bit too comfortable for Toulouse, and York will be saying that's of their own doing. They'll be disappointed with what they turned up in that first half.
So Toulouse Olympique take a 2-point lead into the break. Well, it is absolutely game on in this Betfred Championship Grand Final. Let's just remind ourselves as to how that first 40 unfolded, and this is a really nicely worked move from York to move the ball out to the right-hand side of Toa Mataafa, as he does, slicing through to score.
Yeah, again, it's Thompson, though, who's that conduit, isn't it, between middles and edge, over to Harris. I think they've had 2 or 3 occasions where they could have probably hit the same man. He could have had maybe 1-2 more tries in this game, but they've chose not to go out the back on other occasions. But on that time, yeah, Harris getting to the right player, and like you say, he's just too strong on the outside.
And there's the late shot, just as Toulouse were building, the late shot Shorrocks that gave the French side a penalty, enabled Shorrocks to just level things up again. He's been perfect with the boot so far in difficult kicking conditions. That one probably is most challenging. And then Belmas earning himself a penalty.
I mean, it's hard to see what the penalty's for. Is it a late hit, a drop with the knees, maybe coming in second man, a flop? I'm not quite sure on that, even on the replay, what the penalty was for, but there wasn't too many York players arguing with it, so it was clearly, well, that was a little bit clear, isn't it? Straight around the chops from Santi, who's really been close to the line on a few occasions.
It is discipline, really, that is killing the York Knights so far in this grand final, chasing that Betfred Championship treble, but they've got some work to do here at the LNER Stadium. It is the Toulouse Olympique who leads 6 points to 4 at the break. Stay with us. We'll be back with a massive second half in the Betfred Championship Grand Final. The 30th Betfred Super League Dream Team was announced on Sunday, with 7 clubs represented. Unsurprisingly, Betfred Challenge Cup and League Leader Shield winners Hull KR were best represented, with 4 players: Dean Hadley, Petter Hiku, Jez Litton and reigning Man of Steel Mikey Lewis.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year for us. Obviously picking that Challenge Cup up, winning our first major trophy in over 40 years, and then obviously picking up the league leaders as well. It's gone very fast this year, but it's been a fantastic year for everybody who's involved in this club.
There was reason for celebration on the other side of the city as well, with Herman SASA joining top try scorer Lewis Martin from Hull FC.
You know, probably at the start of the year, I probably didn't think I was going to play round 1, and to be sat here in Dream Team now, top try scorer in Super League, it's crazy. It's overwhelming, but yeah, buzzing to be here, and yeah, really good season.
Mike McMeekan made his return to the Dream Team for Wakefield Trinity, whilst St Helens were represented by Morgan Knowles. Leeds Rhinos have Jake Connor and James McDonnell in the side, whilst Amila Hanley makes his Dream Team debut after a stellar season for the Lee Leopards. The reigning champions Wigan have 2 representatives, Jay Field and Liam Marshall. More individual honours, including the Steve Prescott Man of Steel Award, will be handed out in a few weeks' time. But until then, it's all eyes on the playoffs. So welcome back to the LNER Stadium. Half-time in the Betfred Championship Grand Final. It is Toulouse Olympique that are going against the script, leading 6-4 at the break, courtesy of the boot of Jake Shorrocks, who has kicked 3 penalties against Toa Mata Arthur's 1 try for the Knights. Paul Rowley alongside me, and Toulouse, it's ironic almost that they've scored all their points from penalties, because they've probably looked the more potent team.
Absolutely. So you've got to say York's defence has, on the whole, been extremely good. They've been really physical, that's for sure. We just go through the opening
exchanges. This is the one lapse in defensive concentration.
Yeah, but they could have repeated this. I feel York. I feel like that Toulouse have been a little bit slow on the inside pressure, on the push, and these opportunities have been there more often. Again, it's come through Thompson, who's really a pivotal player for York, to Liam Harris, and they've just picked the right player there. Just got on the outside of the 2-man, and Mata Arthur just going in on the edge before the ill discipline just starts to set in, and the self-destruction. On this occasion, late hit on Shorrocks, and Ashall Bottle will just keep churning them up, and it's a great kick from Shorrocks on that occasion. But yeah, that's the first of the 3 penalties, and York have just found their way back in. You didn't, like you say, you'd never put it down as all Toulouse's points coming from goal kicks at this point. And that's a shoulder charge we found out at half-time, so another 2 points on the board for shoulder charge. Again, ill discipline, but again, strength of carry. We spoke about strength of carry for Toulouse and York in a cup final. The fundamentals being so important, but strength of carry from Toulouse has been great, and York putting the shoulder charge on.
No investigation into what that penalty was for.
No, that's a little bit clear. But again, Santi's come on. And he's tried to shake it up, but
that is indicative of perhaps what York's problem has been. Brendan Santi, encapsulating it there, just a little bit loose, a little bit ill-disciplined when they haven't needed to be, and just looking a little bit rattled. The side who have already won the 1895 Cup at Wembley and the League Leaders' Shield, but they're under the cosh here.
And the thing is, Lewis, this is a cup final, so I think on any given week. And playing in Championship without disrespecting other teams, you can probably get away with that because they're good enough, big enough, experienced enough to go down the other end and just get points. But ultimately, at the minute, when they're getting down at the other end, they're making the wrong decisions, or they're coming up with an error, an unforced error, and it's not quite working for them. So as time's going by, the pressure's building, they're forcing more passes, the accuracy's not quite there. And then obviously pay credit to the effort and resilience of Toulouse as well. This is a cup final, so it ain't going to be that easy. It's not meant to be easy, but it's certainly there for York if they can just straighten things up a little bit.
Well, as the 2 teams come back out here in York, it is Toulouse who have the advantage, and just heard from the sideline that the message from Sylvain Goulet has been more of the same. Keep asking questions of York on the opposition line. Defence is what will win this game, and it's difficult to argue with that, with just a 2 points difference at half-time. And the York Knights be interesting to have been interested to have been a fly on the wall. Mark Applegarth, half-time team talk. But it will be the Knights that get us back underway. Liam Harris has the ball on the tee. So 40 minutes, who knows, maybe more, to decide who will be crowned Betfred Championship winners. Liam Harris kicks deep left to Ollie Ashall-Bott, and we are back underway in the grand final, and straight away Breverton will carry up, met by a welcoming committee of 4 York defenders. At risk of saying something obvious, the opening exchanges of the second half feel crucial as to who can regain the ascendancy. Toulouse will feel that they finished with the wind in their sails in that first half, but York will be hoping that they have used the break to their advantage. Cater out to Shorrocks. Matthew Jusson, he's tackled on the right-hand tram line. Here's Ashelbot again, who was really lively. Short ball from him, cries for forward from the York defenders, but nothing given. Cater is down, getting up slowly in front of the ruck, but we carry on. Lacans will put the ball up in the air for Jones Bishop to take in, which he does without any real challenge. He's stopped 13 metres away from his own line. Now they come out to the left-hand side. So Toulouse navigate the first set of the second half without any incident, and now York look to try and return fire as Mitch Clark fires in up over the 20. He'll play the ball to McShane, who brings up to Galliano, who made a couple of errors in that first half. He'll be looking for more of a positive impact in the second stanza as D crashes up over the 40, hand in the air from Tom Grant. So this is the last. Liam Harris will look to kick this one deep. Bit of a spiral on that ball, and it will bounce in between Ulberg and Ashelbot. The fullback will just drift in and collect, and now look to try and find some space in the line, but Brandon Santi wraps him up. And see that tackle on Jesse's ear again. First couple of minutes of this second half, perhaps the calmest this game has been.
Yeah, it was a lovely low tackle, wasn't it, from Troppis there. Just McShane picking off that short side, but he's alert to it, isn't it? And like you say, the early exchanges, I think Toulouse have been really bright with their start, starting with the Brereton carry, and then again they have that one shift out in the set before handing it on to Ashelbot to try and create some chaos before the last play kick. So copy and paste for Toulouse, exactly the same.
Well, the word from the sideline is that the message from Mark Applegarth, unsurprisingly at the break, was improve the discipline, but he's also instructed his side to try and have a bit more fun in the Toulouse 20. I would imagine fun in the grand final is just scoring points.
Yeah, I think what it means is just just play at the back a little bit more and find the right people. A little bit risk averse, weren't they, in that first half, you've got to say.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, sometimes in these games teams can overplay. It almost feels like York have gone in the opposite direction, and it's been a little bit safe, almost underplayed at times.
Well, the safe option isn't the lead ball or the perceived safe option, isn't it? The safe option is to hit the man out the back where there's space and where there's fresh air. So I just think it's selection and execution that's just been slightly off, but if you get enough chances then you'll get it right eventually, I'm sure.
It's a good carry from Mitch Clark, finds the halfway line, but this is the last. So Hingano doesn't have a huge amount of distance on the kick, but is very, very tall. And Paul Marcon has no choice but to take that and then take his medicine. Absolutely clattered, but brings it in safely. So Toulouse starting this set in their own 20, and we do have an arm wrestle for the first time, really. Ulberg now off his wing, he runs straight at Mitch Clark, who does a good job actually of holding Ulberg up and just slowing that tackle down. He's Ruben Rennie, who had some bright moments in the beginning of that first half, slightly quieter finish, but he'll get us moving again. Cater will play the ball dead centre. Out they'll come to Shorrocks, who puts boot to it. The back three are all in position, so Matt Arthur, I was about to say, he has a relatively easy job of bringing that in. He makes hard work of it, but he did go backwards. And now the York fullback will return up over the 20. Hingano drifts in at acting half, and you can see both teams already. There's a few players walking, a few tired bodies out there. It's a long season. We've got 35 minutes of it left to find out who will be lifting the Betfred Championship trophy. And there's a penalty, and that has been very uncharacteristic of what we've seen from Toulouse.
Yeah, it's against the run of play, isn't it? It's a strong carry, isn't it, from the York winger. He's just, like you said, he's wanted to make amends from a couple of early errors in that first half, but yeah, on that occasion his strength of carry again, which can never be questioned, just won York some field position through a penalty, a cheap penalty. But yeah, so the first chance now
Well, they do make decent progress with the kick, so up to the Toulouse 30s where they will start the set. Hingano comes into the line and they'll just work it through the hands to Ollie Field, who beats the first defender before being brought down. Galliano then goes into hooker, and here's Mitch Clark, who, well, he's only ever going to do one thing with ball in hand, and it's a decent carry from Clark. He's up to the 10-metre line. McShane, Hingano, numbers wide. If they can get the ball through hands, they look to go over the top, and well, Liam Harris very uncharacteristically with a nothing ball. Ben Jones-Bishop never stood a chance of reading that in.
No, he's just passed it into the space, hasn't he, Liam Harris, where he wanted Ben Jones-Bishop to be. Ben Jones-Bishop is in tuck shape there, so he's not hugging the touchline. Again, slight miscommunication, execution, communication, all them little things just, again, not quite clicking for York, but there was certainly an opportunity. And certainly some intent there from the tap, as you see. They went straight on the right to left shift, heeding the words of Mark Applegard to have a little bit more fun. I think that's what the fun looks like.
They'll be enjoying this, because this is all the way back over the try line. York celebrating, just lifted him up into the air, got the wheels turning, got the tractor trundling, and York have earned themselves from a nothing situation a crack at the Toulouse line.
I mean, it's a bizarre tackle, isn't it? That he's actually lifted off the air and carried over. He's not dragged, he's carried. So great defence from York.
Oh, now that is a really nasty dropout, and it's come down and it's come forward. So it is.
Yeah, it's a knock-on from
all
York,
over the place, this game, isn't it?
Well, that's what Toulouse do. This is what Toulouse do. It's chaos, and then you see the York players now getting a little bit frustrated. You've got to really keep your concentration, haven't you, against a team like Toulouse who do have fun. You know, York, I guess, whilst Mark's saying play a little bit more, they've got to stick to what's worked for them all year, and the process that Mark's put in place. So they've been fantastic all year. They're here for a reason. So just stick at it.
So Toulouse out of the scrum. An opportunity to try and march themselves downfield. So what could have been a real opportunity for York to get points on the board has turned into another defensive set for the Knights.
Good now.
And they haven't really had a consistent spell where they've had ball in hand and had opportunities to ask questions of Toulouse in defence, who now have ball in hand themselves. Shorrock spills it and just getting a little bit messy. In fact, this is going to be a penalty for the offside because it was picked up. I think it's Hands. I think it's Brendan Hands who picked that ball up from in front of Shorrocks. And it gives opportunity to Liam Harris to just put the ball downfield. And
it was a great read from Hangano. You've got to say defensive read. They played a tempo play there through the half-backs of Toulouse, really slow across the line. It was telegraphed really, but a great read, and the effort to get there from Hangano, it's forced the errors.
Well, these are opportunities that Toulouse were not affording York in the first half. Sam Cook is onto the field in place of Brendan Santee. Paul McShane's still out there, so Cook will go into the second row. McShane, Hingano. He's got Thompson who's still out there as well. He'll just crash into three Toulouse defenders. Options on both sides of the ball for Paul McShane. He'll come right to Hingano. Hingano just with a short drop-off ball. Toulouse's defence is good on that occasion. But York as close as they have been for a long, long time. McShane, nice little wrap around, could be in the corner, and I think they are. Try given. It's Buchanan who's gone over, and a little bit of ingenuity, and maybe when Mark Applegarth said have some fun in the Toulouse 20-metre zone, that is exactly what he meant.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great play, wasn't it, from McShane? I mean, how many times has he come up with something innovative like that in his old cast days? So he's just showing it there on that right edge, short side play, plays his forward, back of the run around, and then over the top, the audacious pass. Toulouse claimed for a forward pass, but yeah, it's a great play from Paul McShane. And you've got to say, Toulouse's defence, their last two defenders just asleep. Should have put themselves in better position to at least take the ball, if not the man. But great attack, and again, you can just feel the relief in the stadium as Toulouse take the lead again.
Was another difficult kick for Liam Harris on that sideline, but one that will just be grateful to have. And York, who haven't had too many good ball opportunities in this game, take full advantage of that one. And as you say, the ingenuity of Paul McShane picking the lock over on that side, and a relatively routine finish for Kieran Buchanan. Liam Harris, this is not easy, but how he would love to turn 4 into 6 and stretch the lead out to 4 points. It probably is worth mentioning, just in terms of the flow of this game, that although certainly for the next probably 10-15 seconds it's only a 2-point game, in terms of tries scored it is 2-0 in York's favour, and
yeah,
despite the amount of possession that Toulouse have had in decent positions, they haven't done much with it. So an opportunity for Liam Harris to turn the screw a little bit more, but certainly not an easy one. So up he steps. Hush around the stadium, sends it on its way, but just to the wrong side of the sticks. It looked good for a moment, that, but Liam Harris unable to convert, so it stays a 2-point game, but maybe just a settler, although that is exactly what we said in the first half, and then the ball caught in the wind and blew straight into the hands of Toulouse. So
yeah,
nothing a given in this game, but certainly Mark Applegarth will be pleased with the way that his team executed.
It's like we said, Lewis, I think the difference between York and Toulouse is the field position, that when York have had it, it's been a bit of a rare commodity. They've posted points via tries, and Toulouse, in contrast, for all the field position that they've had, have really struggled and haven't crossed the York whitewash as of yet.
So Mitch Clark starts that carry in the car park, but met well and then comes up with an error. So straight away, in different circumstances, the same result. York score and then let Toulouse straight back in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an error from Mitch Clark, isn't he? He's a full-blooded player, isn't he? He's so fired up. It's a strong carry, and well, they've just again put themselves under pressure right from the bat. The one thing you want is to complete your next set after points. Everybody knows that. You could argue hands in there from Wallace, but nevertheless, it's a loose carry from Mitch on that occasion. Not an happy bunny.
So Toulouse with a scrum, dead centre. 4 players to the right-hand side of it in shape, 2 on the left. But your money would be on them coming to the right-hand side, and that is where they come out to Shorrocks. He's got Ashelbot in support, who steps into the line and then jags back in himself, but unable to find any kind of space. Now they'll come left. Shorrocks again. 12 metres away, hands is in at dummy half, comes to the right hand side to Joe Cater. Joe Cater runs into Jordan Thompson, Sam Cook and Mitch Clark. He'll play the ball 8 metres away, hands again. Shorrocks looking to just try and engineer some space. That's Romeo Troppis, who's just lost that ball forward.
So I thought he was blowing up for another penalty for a late shot on Shorrocks there, as he's bent over on his haunches. Just I think he was expecting it as well, but it's gone the other way. So like you said, the trend has changed, hasn't it? The things that York were doing in the first half seem to have passed on to Toulouse, and it's them that's given the penalties away.
So Harris puts it into touch, up over the 20-metre mark. And York, having made an error pretty much from the kickoff, now have an opportunity to try and march downfield after that try. A bit of a reprieve, really, Toulouse unable to make them pay, and maybe just an indicator that the tide is starting to turn in this Betfred Championship Grand Final. Harris brings us out to the right-hand side to Connor Bailey. He stopped just the other side of halfway. McShane in at dummy half. Comes right out to Buchanan, scorer of that try just a few minutes ago. McShane again. Harris has runners. Out they'll come to Hingano. Hingano just with a short ball to Jesse D. Looks to try and find an offload, but can't get the arm free. So this is the last tackle. Mataratha is in at acting half. Harris just runs away from the chase, puts a kick through while Ashel Bott is able to get across and bring that down, but he's pinned into the 10, and again it's a reverse of the pattern that we saw in the first half. It's Toulouse being made to work out of deep now. Marcon will play the ball, and Olympique are up to the 20-metre mark. Hands in at dummy half, brings us left. That's Allberg off his wing, looking to try and work up towards the 30-metre mark. He'll play the ball, and Toulouse perhaps just not finding some of the metres that were there in the first half. Shorrock's forced a kick from just north of his own 40. That kick will bounce upwards and in the end safely into the hands of Scott Galliano, who runs into Matthew Duchamp, and now this is Ben Jones-Bishop, who's had a quiet afternoon by his standards, but not had too many opportunities to find open field. Here's Buchanan, and York are just starting to turn 5 metres into 7 and make progress. It's another good carry off, a good play the ball, so the Knights just marching upfield here. Here's McShane out to Cook. Cook will keep it in hand himself. He's struck down just the other side of the 40. This is the last. McShane will put the kick in himself. It just tries to turn Toulouse around, but Macron will go back and pick it up, and he stopped 8 metres away, and maybe just a little bit of game management coming into things now. Yeah,
they're looking a little bit laggard, aren't they? Toulouse, not as much energy as previous. There's nobody behind the ball yet, getting up to play 3. Not that shape that they've, all through the first half. They threw one shape in the yardage sets before Ashel Bott stepped up, but just getting a little bit tired on the look of things. That last set, I'd have liked York to catch the ball on the full and really bring it back, but as you said, they're winning most collisions now, York.
So Hans gets on the front foot, just finds a little bit of room direct from dummy half. They'll come out again to the right hand side. They're going to play on the last rather than go for the kick. It does now come in. Galliano just having to look through the balloons that are still blowing around here in York, but does manage to bring that in safely. Now, that is an error, and it is going to be Toulouse ball. Mathieu Duchamp celebrates. Scott Galliano, who he's had a few moments in this game that he might not look back on with too much fondness.
It's a loose carry, isn't it?
Yeah, Shorrock's arm is in there, but it's not stripped away. And
it's a loose carry, I think.
You have a responsibility to look after the ball, don't you?
He's had one to forget, hasn't he? He's all his carries are really strong. He's clearly a really tough, whole-eyed winger, isn't he? But certainly when he's been asked to catch the bombs, or in that occasion carry the ball and keep hold of the ball, then he's come up with, like you said, three errors, I think, now.
So can Toulouse make it pay? Ollie Ashel Bott nearly slices through on the first tackle from that scrum. York trying to shepherd him towards the halfway line, but he does well to stay in the field of play, looking for a quick ruck, doesn't get one. Referee just says get up, so Lecans brings us out to the right hand side. Belmas still going. Lambert Belmas, former Catalans Dragons man, France international, and he gets a repeat set, so more pressure piled on the Knights on their own goal line. Cater tries to go through McShane and Cook, and he's lost the ball, but illegally stripped away, says Tom Grant. And you would think Toulouse will take the shot from straight in front to level the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take the 2, but there's something in you kind of would like to see them tap it, but no, the sensible ones to take the 2, obviously bring the game back, but But I'd like to see what they could have done with a full set there and see if they could have actually crossed the York whitewash. But yeah, we'll see it 8-all here, I'm sure. A bizarre game, you know.
Well, it was frantic last week, York against Halifax, uncharacteristically, and then again today, they just haven't quite found the control, have they? And you know, it's not really Toulouse's style to grind the team down, but they have got an opportunity to be levelled up at 8 points all without scoring a try.
Well, I wouldn't bet on Toulouse going through a game too often without scoring a try, so you would suspect that there's still something left in them in terms of the 4-pointer and getting over the whitewash. So you know, the time's ticking. You keep expecting York to pull away in this game. It feels like York are just ready to pull away and get the ascendancy, but along comes the chaos.
So the kick from straight in front of the posts is good, and again we are levelled up 8 points all in the Betfred Championship Grand Final. 20 minutes or so on the clock. Toulouse's last win against the Knights came by a single point on the 23rd of February. York Knights won the 1895 Cup at Wembley with a drop goal and golden point, so plenty of evidence to suggest that either team can win this game if it does indeed go deep, as it looks like it is going to. And for Toulouse, who have fallen at this hurdle for the 2 previous seasons, all the time that it stays close and it stays like this, the belief will grow.
Well, they're very capable, aren't they? Like you say, and the pressure's always been on York, so the time will just build that. And as you see now, it's a really competent set now after points again. There's that last tackle play, Ashol Bott taking them into the 40 metres away from the try line. So you get an attacking kick now as well. And we've got to see a bit of energy from York now to try and gain that ascendancy again in terms of field position. So
it's a high kick. Matt Hartford does well underneath it and then finds a couple of post-contact meters. Looks for a quick play. All a little bit messy, but Tom Grant says just get on with it. Ben Jones-Bishop is the next carry. Now, I'm not saying it's yet, Paul, but at what point in an even grand final do you start thinking about drop goals and things like that?
Well, you can come away with points. It isn't going to do you any harm, is it, at any point during this next 18-minute period that's left in the remaining in this game? So, yeah, I don't think you need to be taking snapshots, but come away with points would be a good piece of advice.
So here's Jesse D up over halfway. Strong carry.
He's been really good for York. I think he's been his defence has been fantastic. His carries have been strong and really good.
Hingano on the last, another one that's put up high into the sky. Ashel Bott's been very, very good underneath those all afternoon, and he is again. He doesn't make any progress after that, but the job was done in terms of securing the football. And now Ulberg still sort of scurrying along, gets a few extra metres for his trouble, plays the ball on the 30, and Toulouse now trying to work their way into York territory. Shorrocks just keeps things short with the ball to AJ Wallace. Wallace will play the ball on the 40-metre mark. Here's Cater. He'll find hands with an offload, and Ashel Bott will go up the middle. Ollie Ashel Bott, numbers left and right, puts a kick in. Probably the wrong option. Liam Harris brings it in, but we're going to come back for a penalty for a late shot on Ollie Ashel Bott. It's all going off on backfield, and here's the chaos again. Well, he looks in some strife as well, Ashel Bott. I hope it's just the air being knocked out of him as the two teams continue to carry on in the background. It's been an entertaining grand final, Rolls. It's been an odd grand final in many ways.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to get your head round at times, isn't it? I'm not actually sure what the scuffle's for in there. Are they fighting over the hits as we get another look at this hits here and see how bad it was? Great break.
Hands who found the space, and now Ashbot slices through. Puts the kick in, and Matt Arthur just...
Well, it's late, and he's a big man, isn't he? So it's always going to look worse. He's hit him high, so he's took him off his feet. I think Ollie Ashbot will be all right. I think he's winded. It looks worse than it is, if I'm going to be honest. I think he's a big man, he can't disappear.
Yeah, I've only got pushing in that. Anything else? Are we on penalty sufficient on the challenge on the kicker? Yeah, okay. On the kicker. Have we got the player on the kicker? It was Matt Peet. Got mate? Okay, we're going to go with the penalty. I'm going to speak to the captains. Captains in, please.
It's penalty sufficient for the late shot. So Matt Arthur, who maybe would have just been slightly worried.
I've got to say, I think Tom Grant's dealt with that really well again. I think it is a penalty, I don't think it's anymore.
Pushing and shoving, it's a final, it's 8-8 and there's 16 minutes to go. I'll leave it up to you lads, but I wouldn't want players sitting down for that. Is that okay? Yeah, we sort it out now. One second. Listen, I'm speaking. We sort it out now and that's the end of it for me. We're going to go with penalty here for Toulouse.
It's a final warning from Tom Grant, and we will come back for a Toulouse penalty. And
it can only be a final warning to York, though. Toulouse have hardly given any penalties for discipline throughout the entire game. So York have had, obviously the points tell you on the board, if they get this over, it's 10 points, all penalties, all hits or foul play. Nothing technical infringements, they're all foul play. So it's York that's got to heed the warning, not so much Toulouse, but Ollie Ashbot back to the play. In the first and foremost, a great offload from Cato. They've not done a lot of offloading since the very first set, Toulouse, where they caused problems. So it might be something that they might want to adapt a little bit more and bring it into the game. But I'm not sure why Ollie booted it left, if I'm being honest.
No, but equally, and I'm not a fullback making a split-second decision in the grand final, but once he is shaping up to kick, I don't understand why you would just continue to take him out. Once the boot was on the ball, he'd almost put himself, backed his own team into a corner. As Shorrock steps up to put Toulouse back in the lead, and he does. So this Betfred Championship Grand Final continues to swing one way and then the other. The Toulouse Olympique fans in that far corner celebrate. And we have 15 minutes to go. And as we see the penalty again, and there's absolutely no doubt that it is a penalty.
Yeah. Well, I think like anything else, I think he'd have been better off going through with the tackle and coming down with him, and it doesn't look as bad. It doesn't flip him. But what I'll say with Tua Matt Arthur, he's a very nonchalant player. He glides, he moves really well, but he's very heavy, isn't he? So he's not pulling out of that tackle, that's for sure.
Big man on little man, wasn't it? Yeah. But undoubtedly a penalty, and it is a penalty that has put Toulouse Olympique back in front in this grand final. So 15 minutes left to go, and York have some work to do if they're going to complete the treble that they are chasing.
That clock's all of a sudden moving very quick.
They've not lost since the 18th of April. This would not be the game that they would have chosen to break that run. Ollie Ashbot getting them on the front foot again, and there is space now for Toulouse on this left-hand side. Eventually stopped, but finding those extra metres again. Hands to Lecans. Lecans just chips one over the top. Matt Arthur is there to bring it in, and then he'll try to take Thomas Lecans with him on his kick return. He is eventually brought down on the 20. This is where Toulouse's discipline needs to be squeaky clean. Jones Bishop. Harris will bring us out to Galliano. Galliano, just wonder what's going on in the back of his mind after a couple of errors in this game. Big Industrial carry from Hudson, straight up the middle, just short of halfway is where he'll be stopped. McShane has options on both sides of the ball, comes left to Thompson. Here's Hingano, chooses to bring it out to field. He had Matt Arthur in back play, but chose to move the ball across to the edge, hand in the air from Tom Grant, so this is the last. Hingano goes for the option that he's looked for all game, which is just high in the air. Ashelbot does really well again because he was under some pressure there.
That's an amazing catch. That was a great kick from Mangano, absolutely fantastic. It was a paper bag kick, it was all over the place, spiralling, moving. That was an unbelievable catch from Ollie Ashelbot.
Just feels, doesn't it, that this game is going to come down to a moment. Whether of brilliance or madness, we will wait and see, but as Wallace just continues to shrug defenders off and march downfield. Ashelbot again, central to everything Toulouse are doing. Brings us out to the right edge where Romeo Trapece is stopped on the 30-metre mark. This is the last. The kick will come from the boot of Shorrocks, and it's his turn to put one high into the air. Jones Bishop does really well underneath it and then manages to stay in the field of play. Does he? No, he doesn't, but he'll get a penalty for a drag. Toulouse are not happy about it. We can get another look at it here. Second effort from Ruben Rennie, isn't it?
It's a penalty. Again, good call. Just couldn't help himself, could he? It's a big moment though, isn't it? It's a big moment. Just takes that field position, just makes it a little bit easier.
Kieran Hudson takes another carry. He's a big body onto the field for York, and they have had some progress just by working the middle. Although, as I say that, they look to an edge. Here's Matarafa field. Just loses his footing. So Matarafa to Hingano. Hingano up over halfway, and good carry from Thompson. York starting to make a little bit of progress. Paul McShane in at hooker. Oh, Hingano leaves it on the floor. Cardinal sin for Mata Hingano. And it's just not going York's way.
Just the replay. It's McShane just coming out from dummy half again. He's a great exponent of the short side players, and they've just rolled Toulouse in that set. It's all looking a little bit fragile and stressful. He's got on the front foot, jumped from dummy half, and Ghana's hit the ad line there as he does. He's a strong ball carrier too, after Ghana. But he's just watching the man, isn't he? He's just watching the man and not concentrating, put the ball down. Another unforced error. Another minute ticked off the clock. Takes him into 10-minute category. The 10-minute territory, sorry. And yeah, again, the pressure grows. So
Toulouse up over their own 40. It's an interesting sort of state of the game for them, isn't it? Because they are leading, but 2 points, you can't. I don't really think you can go into game management mode and just try and see this out, can you?
No, not Toulouse. Toulouse will want to score a try. There's definitely a try in this team.
Well, we spent the pre-match talking about their expansive style of play and how they like to go about the games. The 10 points have all come from the boot. I'm going to take a break here.
Do you know what, though? The expansive style that Toulouse have adopted and played has enabled them to get one-on-ones, which created the opportunities for the lack of discipline from York. So, you know, their endeavour has been rewarded with the 2 pointers. Whether, you know, even though they've not crossed the try line for the 4 or possible 6.
It doesn't matter how the points are scored, does it, if you win the game? So out to the left-hand side come Toulouse, looking for that try. Could it come here? Ruben Rennie almost gets himself free. Last tackle. What can Olympique come up with here? Lacans spins it out. Options still right. I'm not sure that was the play. Lambert Belmas ends up with the ball. I think even he was surprised that he had the ball in his hands there, and it all comes to a fairly disappointing end to that set.
Well, I think York showed them the way. The left edge of York's defence, as they have done all afternoon, led from the third defender in Angano. He gets up really high defensively. He forced an error previous in this half. On this occasion, they've showed the pocket to kick into, but yeah, they were the wrong option from Toulouse.
into the final 10 minutes then of the Betfred Championship season. Who's going to make themselves a hero? Jack Martin carries up towards the 40-metre mark for York. Paul McShane, he won't be phased. He's been in these situations before. That's Kieran Hudson just poking his nose through the line, finds a quick play as well. So York are up to the 40. Hingano will just keep it in hand. This is the last. Harris puts one high into the air. It's another one that's going to hang, but it's going to hang over the touchline. Liam Harris, well, I've used the word uncharacteristic a few times this afternoon.
Well, that's two sets. One set, one pivot's messed up, and the other set, the next pivot's messed up as well. So the key men just not quite finding the answers at the minute, just coming up with them unforced errors. But again, it's chipping away at the clock and getting ever nearer to that 80-minute mark where Toulouse will.
So Toulouse play the ball just short of their own 40. Ulberger's off his wing. He'll be the first player to carry into this York line. Clock ticking away for the Knights on what would be a very damp end to what has been an otherwise outstanding season. Still got time, of course. 2 points can disappear very, very quickly as Butler almost goes up the middle, but Martin had his number. Big shot goes in from the former Queensland under-19s player. That's batted backwards by Liam Harris into the hands of a York player. So another strange end to a set, another strange turnover. It is the Knights with now a penalty as well. Just too much going on in there for Tom Grant's liking. Liam Harris just playing peacemaker as well. Bailey just carrying on a little bit. Decent distance made on the kick. So the crowd lifts here at the LNER Stadium. Kieran Buchanan up to the 20. Is this the opportunity? He's lost the ball and he's lost it forward, says the referee. Toulouse celebrate. York look on in disbelief. We'll have another look at it. Ooh.
There's hands all over it. There's hands all over it.
It is one of those where, with bodies all over the place, it's probably a difficult decision. I'm glad I'm not the referee, but I'm probably inclined to agree with you, Paul Rowett.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, the referee can't see. That's got the touch. He's got to see that one. There's hands all over it. It's that sort of the game, isn't it? That period of the game where that sort of thing's going to happen, but they've got away with it anyway.
So all the time, Toulouse can eat up with ball in hand, edges them ever closer to being champions. Hingano goes flying in. Don't know if he almost ran into the shoulder of his own player there. Kieran Hudson was the other York player in that tackle. Both back on their feet. There's a Toulouse player down with cramp as Ollie Ashelbot tries to get things moving again. Here's Ruben Rennie, who just runs at Martin, does manage to shrug him off, and now Toulouse keep moving. Still unable to breach halfway. But it's all just slowed down a little bit when Toulouse have ball in hand, unsurprisingly. Belmas brought down by the scruff of his shirt. And his hands, who've been lively at hooker this afternoon for Toulouse, on loan from Parramatta Reels, hand in the air from the referee. One more opportunity in this set. It's just a grubber kick to try and turn Matarath around, and he'll go back and collect, find the floor, but York will start this set with the full length of the field in front of them, and that is exactly where Toulouse Olympique want to play the last 5 minutes of this grand final. So Clark back up on the field, but he's unable to make too much progress. I'm just trying to get some indication of where the wind is blowing now to see if a 40-20 or anything like that might come into play. 5 minutes or so to go. Paul, I'm going to ask you to start having a think about your Betfred player of the match, but here go York up the right hand side into positive equity in this set, up over halfway. This is the last, so they'll keep playing out to Hingano, who's spotted some space on this left. They'll bring us all the way over, finds an offload D just puts the boot to ball. Well, puts boot to ball and then nearly takes Ollie Ashelbot's head clean off his shoulders, and I'll be very surprised if York finish this game with 13 players after that.
He said in his previous that anymore he's going to set him down. He said it in his previous. Ill discipline from York again. He's got to go at least a yellow. We'll look on the replay, see if it's direct contact or not. But he's got to go sit down for 10 minutes at least. But York there in particular gets to hang on. Or the last thing he wants to be doing is putting it in the hands of his back row. Felt sorry for him. He's got to put a kick through. As we watch the replay,
and the only question here is what colour.
He's hooked him.
He's going to come out of Tom Grant's pocket.
I'm going yellow card here.
It doesn't matter, does it? 4 minutes left in the game. He's not coming back onto the field.
Doesn't matter in that respect, but
it is high.
It's high, and he's got whiplash as well when he's hit the ground. So the outcome's really poor for Ollie Ashelbot. He's really dangerous tackle. He's took some punishment, hasn't he? But he's such a brave player.
Well, I don't know if it's just because Jesse D has gone and hid, but Tom Grant is not pulling him over. So we're going to continue at 13 aside.
He said in his previous one that he's going to sit somebody down, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, 4 minutes to go.
Continue as you were. 4 minutes to go. Toulouse 2 points to the good, all 10 of them courtesy of the boot of Jake Shorrocks. 2 York tries, but down on the scoreboard. And well, at the moment this game is going to come down to goal kicking as Mathieu Jusson nearly steps his way through. Hands, here's Ashelbot. He is probably still ringing after that high shot, runs into a closed corridor. Here's Lacans, Cater, he'll just take the direct route. This is the last. Hands comes left. Lacans bouncing around all over the place. Who's coming out with that ball? It's York, but again starting a set on their own goal line. Do or die, now or never for the York Knights. And they go with the chip over the top. Where's that coming down? It's come forward off somebody.
Well, it's gone off a York player into touch, surely.
It has, yeah. It's going to be Toulouse ball.
He's gone early with the kick. I'm not sure why Atta and Ngana's gone so early with the kick. They could have tried win a penalty, get some field position. It's a big play, and it's not come off for them.
Well, we are into game management territory for Toulouse now. They can just manage the scoreboard and win the Betfred Championship. Out they'll come to the left-hand side. The shot comes in from Kieran Hudson. York have to try and force an error. Toulouse just have to keep hold of the rugby league football. Hands, Shorrocks just goes himself, runs into Clark, who then has a go again. And that actually has just given Toulouse the opportunity to slow the game down a little bit more. We'll see it again. Clark rocks him.
Yeah, I think he's just a bit of gamesmanship there. I think he's all right. He's taking the pace out of the game. As we see York, they'll have to force some errors, like Q said. We'll see people now. Mick McShane in particular look to force errors, come out of the line, intercepts.
To Cater, Jordan Thompson. Timely reminder that clock on your screen is not the referee's watch. It is just the guide. But there is not long left in this game as Toulouse now look down the left-hand side. This is the last, keeping the ball alive. Could Lacans get through? Has he got there? Just short. It will be a turnover, but it is literally a turnover on the goal line for York. So they have got to go 100 metres to win the Betfred Championship.
Discipline.
Drama in this grand final. They'd love a penalty, York, but Toulouse just doing what they need to do for the time being. Referee has said that there are 2 minutes left in this game, so there is time for York to try and make something happen. Ngannou, they'll come up the left-hand side with Field up towards the 40. He'll play the ball to Galliano. Galliano will give it to Mata Arthur, and now Ngannou will look to come the other way. This is Liam Harris. There could be some space on this side. Here's Buchanan. Buchanan up over the 40, puts the offload in, and Jones Bishop can't bring it in cleanly. Was that the opportunity? Oh, did he need to do it?
Well,
I understand it.
Yeah, exactly. If it sticks, it's the pass that gets you over the line, isn't it? But you've got to say, every time York have gone left to right in that edge, they've looked really dangerous when they've gone to Ben Jones Bishop. So yeah, it's just a tight one, isn't it? He's a little bit behind there, Ben Jones Bishop on that occasion, and another play in the bank as well. They probably could have just took the tackle and gone again.
Well, that could be that. As Ulberg runs in, Clark tries to rip it away. Ulberg did not need to throw that offload, but Ashel Botney, he finds a gap to get through. 60 seconds left in the Betfred Championship Grand Final. Toulouse have a lead and they have possession of the ball. And we are in miracle territory now for the York Knights. Belmas will just take the tackle on the 40. Everything now will be extremely slow from Toulouse as Butler carries up to the 30. Forced onto his back, and he'll be more than happy to slowly get up. Here's Shorrocks. And Jusam, this is the last. So York will get the ball back in this game. No, they won't. There's the hooter. Toulouse Olympique are the 2025 Betfred Championship winners. They have done it all via the boot of Jake Shorrocks. But it does not matter, because after 80 minutes of Grand Final Rugby League, Toulouse Olympique 10, York Knights 8 is the only important stat. Paul Rowley, what a grand final. I do need to come to you before we get into the details of that for your Betfred player of the match.
Oh, it's the easiest one you've ever asked me before. Ollie Ashelbot by a country mile. The Toulouse fullback, I think it's been the difference between the two sides. It's been the magic. They've been fantastic. Well deserved from Toulouse. I think York will be kicking themselves when they review this game, but reviewing it, there's no point now anymore, because there is no tomorrow, and you get to cup finals like this, the last game of the season. I think Toulouse have been absolutely fantastic. They're worthy winners today, and I think that man, the fullback Ollie Ashelbot, has been absolutely fantastic.
Ollie Ashelbot, then, your Betfred player of the match. They were upset by the London Broncos in the Grand Final 2 years ago. They were blown away by Wakefield at this stage last season. But at the third time of asking, against all the odds, Toulouse Olympique have come up with a mammoth effort here in York and are just minutes away from lifting the Betfred Championship trophy. And that band of maybe 100 French fans over in that corner, well, this trip will be worth every penny for them now.
Yeah, absolutely. We said before the game, it's been a colourful event, hasn't it? The York fans came out in numbers. They've had such a tremendous season. Let's not forget that. So, whilst they're despondent at this moment in time, they've had a great year and they've got a great future as well. More importantly, it's exciting for them. But what does this do then for everybody's opinion on who should be in Super League and who shouldn't? Because Toulouse have just give everybody a timely reminder that they're a wonderful city full of wonderful people, play the game in the right way. They added so much to Super League last time, and here they are. They've just done the impossible, haven't they? They've beat York. on their own paddock in the game that matters. And well, they've been quite fantastic, to be honest. And yeah, pleased for York in the season that they've had, and pleased for Toulouse in the day that they've had, and the coach in particular, Sylvain Hules, who's been there for several years now. And yeah, delighted for him.
So a sad end to a remarkable season for York. 2 trophies lifted, unable to complete the third, but as you've just alluded to, Paul, let's play full credit to our champions, Toulouse Olympique, who have come up with a huge performance here in York.
Got to say, I think the referee had a good game as well. I know it's always hard when you've got a one-sided attendance almost. Majority, 96-7% of people in here supporting York. However, I just think Tom Grant controlled the game really well today, and well, we was treated to a great game, albeit unusual in the circumstances that now Toulouse have won purely from goal kicks. So you won't see that too often, and the odds would have been very low at the beginning. He gets a boo, a good reception there, Tom Grant, as he goes off. But
who'd be a referee? You can't. There's no such thing as a good game, is there?
I think he had
when you're a ref, you're always going to upset someone. But no, I agree with you. I don't think.
Tell me the big incidents he got wrong. Tell me the
No,
moments.
exactly. And he's certainly not the reason that Toulouse are about to lift this trophy. The reason is the boot of that man in your picture, Jake Shorrocks, who kicked 5 goals in his 3rd season.
I thought his overall game was good. You know, his control of the game was good. Obviously, aside from the goal kicking, I thought his involvements, the amount of time he had the ball in his hands. I think when Toulouse needed a go-to person, a steadying hand, then he was that guy more often than not. So, you know, I thought he was right up there as well with one of the top performers of the day in Shorrocks.
Well, the weekend of rugby league is not done, of course. We've had the 2 Betfred Super League semi-finals. We've had a wonderful grand final here on the Sportsman. Betfred Women's Super League final on the way shortly, but here in York, you can see the pictures. Toulouse Olympique celebrating with their army of travelling fans, and for a club that have tasted the Super League a few years ago and then been very, very consistent in the Betfred Championship ever since, this is a special occasion. They've been on the wrong side of some grand final upsets, of course. They'll be very, very happy to be on the right side of one this afternoon. And of course, as we know, the Super League placings for next season will not be decided by this alone, but they will feel that their application has just perhaps got that much stronger here in York.
Absolutely.
Those flags fly high.
And so they should. It's a great place, Toulouse. It's a great place, and they're such a colourful team, aren't they, in every sense of the word, off the field, on the field, and they had so much. They certainly did last time they was in Super League, and they came up with some great results that time. They were competitive throughout the entirety of the year. So, and it's, like I say, it's a great place to visit, is Toulouse. So, yeah, fair play to them, and that's really thrown their hat into the ring.
Well, York owner Clint Goodchild there in the huddle with his players. I'm sure when the dust settles on today, they'll look back on this season with a lot of pride. They had not lost a game since the 18th of April until today.
Well, they've got a big future, haven't they? You know, and I think since Clint's come to this club and been a part of this club, then it's been on an upward trajectory ever since then in what he's done and what Mark Applegarth's done, and the journey he's been on has been nothing short of remarkable. So their future is certainly bright, and you know, we've witnessed today a couple of teams certainly on the up, haven't we? This will be learning for them. They'll learn. It'll do them no harm, but the fairy tale wasn't to be so in the end. But again, it's been a tremendous year from York.
So we await the trophy presentation as Toulouse Olympique players make their way over past the Betfred Championship trophy. Martin Coyd, OBE and Matt Pearson from sponsors Betfred handing out the medals. I'm fairly sure neither of them speak French, so I'm not sure what those conversations are, but they'll be congratulating Toulouse Olympique on a remarkable effort. And there is the trophy that they will be hoisting above their heads very, very shortly, and taking it back to the south of France. I wonder if they booked an extra seat for it just in case on the way back. And a nice moment there. Martin Coyd, founder of the Medway Dragons Community Club down in Kent, shaking the hand of Rob Butler, a player who came through the junior system there, now playing in the south of France and lifting the Betfred Championship trophy very shortly with Toulouse. Ollie Ashelbot, our player, Betfred player of the match. The last non-playing members of the squad receiving their medals. And in the middle of there somewhere, head coach Sylvain Houlet, who, as you mentioned, has been at this club a long, long time and stuck with them in all sorts of different situations. Let's not forget that they weren't that far away from maintaining their spot in the Betfred Super League a few years ago. But now it is all about this. Toulouse Olympique, the 2025 Betfred Championship winners. Anthony Marion lifts the trophy high and the celebrations begin in earnest for Olympique. A long, long season finishes in silverware for the side from the south of France. Dominic Peyrou in there as well. And the party can begin. And it's impossible to say that they have not earned that victory today. 10 points to 8. All 10 points coming from penalties, but defensively astute when they needed to be. Took advantage of the opportunities given to them, and now able to name themselves champions of the Betfred Championship again. Joe Breverton in your shot there, a player who's gone over to the south of France and had a real solid career since joining in 2018, the former Wigan man. There's another former Wigan man, Jake Shorrocks, and been rewarded for their work and loyalty to the Toulouse club in the last few years. Fantastic pictures in front of us. And there is the man who's masterminded it all today, Sylvain Houlet. After heartbreak in the previous two Championship Grand Finals, is finally a winning head coach in the Betfred Championship. Rolls, let's just remind ourselves as to how they got there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange old game, wasn't it? But you know, you'd have never expected what unfolded to after seeing this opening exchange, and it was York again through Thompson, and found the big fullback who's such a dangerous player. Probably should have got more involved throughout the game, but just squeezing in there on the edge. Toulouse not able to work just quite hard enough just to fill the gaps in and around that middle, and offering that opportunity just to squeeze in and around there. But again, it's that's where it all began. The late shot, the lack of discipline. This time on Shorrocks, it's a late shot, and well, he steps up with his first 2 points of the game. 5 goal kicks have ultimately won them a grand final, and that was the first of the 5. So late hit on himself. Here's the second one again. There's a shoulder charge just given for that one. There's a strong carry. Spoke about the strong carries all afternoon. I thought Toulouse just found a lot of one-on-ones. York just struggling on that occasion, coming with a shoulder charge, and again, Shorrocks not missing, is he? He's been fantastic for them today. Spoke earlier, Santi's come on, he's come on, he's made an impact in probably the wrong way 2 or 3 times, just sailed close to the wind on that occasion, hit him right around the chops, hasn't he? There's no mistake in that one, and it's an easy one right at the side of the sticks. He's gone three goal kicks now. 6 points on the board for Toulouse, and then here it is with York. It's McShane who really stamps his authority straight after half time, where they've had the message there from Applegarth, have more fun, he said. Well, it's McShane there, just audacious short side play, really brave, a little run around and pass over the top, and well, you would be forgiven for thinking York there just might go on and score a couple more tries after that. They looked very dangerous with the ball. But then here it goes again. It settles down. The chaos begins. We spoke about it. Just a search for the line and a ball steal. Can't help themselves. Lack of discipline. This is what they'll review. They'll be kicking themselves, York. Just a sloppy penalty, really kickable for Sharks on that occasion. Then again, it's all Ashall Botta, man of the match. Electric through the middle. Thought he took the wrong option at the time, but it's the fullback. And who's just took him late. He's such a big body, he looks dramatic, not probably as bad as it's has looked, but then Shorrocks probably with his most challenging kick of the afternoon, kicked it from the sideline for what would ultimately be the winning goal kick. And well, quite fitting, I guess, that the last touch of the game would be Shorrocks himself just kicking the ball out.
Yeah, Toulouse Olympique 2025 Betfred Championship winners, alongside me now the Betfred player of the match, Ollie Ashall-Bott. Ollie, if I'd have said to you were going to win this game without scoring a try, you probably wouldn't have believed me, but there's some effort the way that you dug in there.
You know what, if you said that to me about not scoring a try, I probably would have believed you a little bit. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and we knew we grind out the sets, and once we get down there, take opportunities, and the opportunities were penalties, and we're not going to not take the 2 against a good side like York. So yeah, we took our opportunities when we could, and luckily it's come up trumps. It
just seemed like you did a really good job throughout that game of stopping York from finding any kind of rhythm. When they did look like they were starting to get on top, you found a way of disrupting them a bit. Was that something that you'd spoken about coming into it?
Yeah, we know York's strength for the back 5. You know, I think any team this year struggled to contain them, and I think we did a good job today. We spoke about once we do that, then they don't think we can go with they can go with us. You know, put them in corners and hit them hard and turn them over where we want to, and I feel like that's exactly what we did.
And one of the things that really stood out in terms of your personal game was just the way you were able to kind of jump into that back line late and cause a little bit of confusion in the defence. I know that's been a big part of your game for a long time, but you're also really pleased with the way that you executed game plan today.
Yeah, I am really. I'm really proud of the boys. Exactly what we spoke about, and we did that. Yeah, like you said, I'm just finding different roles and different ways to get into the game. Sometimes I struggle to get into games, and you know, when I get my hands on the ball, that's when I feel like I'm most dangerous. So once I get the ball in my hand, I don't really know what's going on, but I like to try and cause a mess. And yeah,
I know you've got a flight back tonight. I know those fans are on it with you. It's going to be some celebration, I would imagine.
Yeah, all our friends and family flew over, and we got the fans and the staff and our partners as well with us. So yeah,
I hope it's not too crazy because the plane we come in is not the best. So yeah, hopefully we get back.
I'm going to let you get off and enjoy it. Congratulations again. I'll take that off you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Our Betfred player of the match, Ollie Ashall-Bott, and joining me now, Toulouse head coach Sylvain. You said before the game that you were confident, you had a plan, you executed that plan, and you must be so proud of your team.
No, exactly. You know, like, well, first of all, you know, I like to really congratulate York for the season that they had. You know, like, we've been, you know, a couple of days like losing a final at home, and it's not easy, you know, and especially like tight games like that. But you know, like they need to lift their heads up because I thought they were awesome. You know, it was luck sometimes of a bounce, and you know, and it got our way. So you know, obviously, yeah, going back to us, I'm extremely proud of the boys. You know, like we after the grand final loss last year, you know, like where it was a tough one to take and to set up again, and I thought that we set up really high standard this season, and it paid off today. You know, because in the end we delivered on the day. So I'm proud and very happy for the club, for the boys, for our chairman, for everyone who works, and for our families, our friends, and our supporters.
I just want to talk about the defence because at times it was absolutely superb.
Yeah, we emphasise a lot on that. I mean, they still managed to score 2 tries, you know, when they come in. But after that, other than that, yeah, I thought that the boys' efforts in defence was big. But same than York, you know, like I mean, we didn't manage, you know, like to score tries, and but you know, like so they've been tough on that. You know, it was the best 2 defensive side going head to head today, you know, of the championship. So no surprise that there was a low score game.
You mentioned those 2 previous grand final defeats. Does that make this one even sweeter?
Yeah, you know, like it's you know, like we've been lucky enough. You know, like we've been on a 4 grand final in the last 5 years. So you know, like we won 2 and we lost 2. So you know, it's the game like that. You learn and you know, to make sure like you study them and you move on and you make sure like and it doesn't repeat itself after.
We have to wait and see what happens in terms of Super League going forwards. But you must feel like the club's really kind of shown a sign of intent and a sign of a really bright future today.
Well, as I say, you know, like we've been in 4 grand final in the last 5 years, and the only is we didn't win it was because we were in Super League. So I cannot see a better club, you know, outside at the moment the 12 Super League teams, you know, like so. I just hope, you know, like for the good of our sports, then we in Super League.
Well, Sylvain, enjoy it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll let you get off and join the celebrations. I can just bring Mark Applegarth in now, the York head coach. Mark, difficult day at the office, really, not how you'd have wanted this season to end. Can you pinpoint what went wrong?
Well, first of all, you've got to give congratulations to Toulouse. You know, they've been up there all year, obviously finishing just behind us in the table, but 2 very equal teams, as the scoreboard suggests today, and you've got to credit them for icing today. I thought they played a real clinical game of rugby league, obviously capitalised on our real discipline. Really proud of our guys, our defenders' errors, but ultimately we came up with too many unforced errors and too much ill discipline, and fair play to Toulouse. You know, there's got to be a winner, there's got to be a loser, and it's gone their way.
I know you'll be disappointed tonight. Once the dust settles on this season, will you reflect on it? I'm sure you will reflect on it as a positive year. A League Leaders Shield winners, you know, a huge unbeaten run, obviously victory at Wembley as well. I know today will hurt, but you must look back on this with some element of pride across the year. Yeah,
listen, really proud of the group, always proud of the group. I was proud last year when you know, we got knocked out in the semi-final versus Wakefield, and you just got to use it for fuel for your fire. Ultimately, we wasn't good enough to nail the big occasion. We've had a lot go our way this year, and I think there's a way of winning, there's a way of losing, and we've had a fair share of winning this time, and we've had to suck one up and congratulate the better team on the day, which was Toulouse. So yeah, proud of this year, and yeah, it'll sting for a while, but we'll dust ourselves off and we'll get ready for what comes next.
Well, Mark, commiserations today. Congratulations on a fantastic season. Otherwise, we'll let you get back to your players.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
We'll see you again
Cheers,
soon.
mate. Yeah, thank you.
You can bring Paul Rowley back in with me. Rolls, it wasn't the grand final that we thought we were going to get. Certainly, we never wrote Toulouse off before the game, but for them to grind out a win like that, it will probably be even more pleasing.
Well, an unpredictable grand final's fantastic, isn't it? That's what we want. We don't want to know who the winner's going to be before the game kicks off. You've got to be pleased for Toulouse and Sylvain Hull, like I say, experiencing defeat on a couple of occasions prior to today, and then coming up with the goods there. And Ollie Ashall-Bott, the way he performed, you only have to look at the marks around his face. He's got punched from pillar to post today, and he had such an influential game. So what a day, what a celebration, and York showcasing to everybody what they're about, their Super League credentials. A full stadium. Mark Applegarth's done a fantastic job. But yeah, again, and then I'll reiterate what I said up there. Toulouse have, just speaking to Ollie off camera there, and Sylvain as well, and they're shouting from the rooftops. They want a place in Super League as well. So don't make no mistake about it. We've seen two clubs today that are definitely on the up. I thought the grand final was different, but nonetheless compelling, and and Toulouse I thought were the worthy winners. So no complaints.
And it does show us, obviously we're waiting to see what happens in terms of Super League places, but it shows us the strength and the depth in this competition, because York, the best side all season, this time 7 days ago, more or less. Toulouse were way back at half-time against Bradford and came back and won. The unpredictability and the quality on show shows just how good it is at this level.
Yeah, absolutely, and I watched that game as well, and Bradford have got a lot of good players in there as well. Watched the Halifax game here, the semi-final, a week or two ago, and Halifax again, they could have done it as well. Their form's been fantastic the back end of the year. So there's a lot of good players in championships, a lot of proud clubs, and I for one am a huge advocate of the Championship rugby and the clubs and the people that are involved more than anything. I think it's so authentic, and anybody who doesn't go watch Championship, then you need to start, because it's a brilliant competition.
Well, Paul, thank you for joining us. That is, of course, us done for live games here on Sportsman for 2025. I'd just like to say a few thank yous. Neville Smith and Lachlan and all the team at In Touch for making this happen. Danny Walwork and all the boots on the ground that have helped us bring you these games over the season. All of our co-commentators, pundits across the year, of course, the teams that have brought us such drama, and you at home for tuning in as well. Of course, the season is not done. The Betfred Women's Super League Grand Final kicking off very shortly, and next week, of course, off to Old Trafford for the Grand Final. We'll have a very special preview show from the Theatre of Dreams on Wednesday night ahead of that one. But here in York, it is Toulouse Olympique's night. It is their year. They are the 2025 Betfred Championship champions.
I think York will be.
Then your bet.